Ma'am, you are not audible, ma'am. Your microphone is muted.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Now, so you have not heard anything so far I have discussed.
No, ma'am.
Oh God, my goodness. Okay. So last previous classes, we have been discussing about fluid properties, right? Fluid properties. And in fluid properties, you have seen density, specific weight, specific gravity, and viscosity, capillarity, surface tension. These are some of the properties of fluids which you have discussed in the last classes. Now, with that introduction of fluid properties, now we would like to move on to fluid statics. When you're talking about fluid statics, there are one thing: the fluid is a stationary. When the fluid is in stationary, then you can say whatever the pressure which is acting on the object is considered as the fluid statics. And the pressure is the most important parameter to be considered in the fluid statics. And fluid dynamics, if you are taking when the fluid is in the flowing condition, we are considering that is a fluid dynamic. And all the parameters related to the movement of the fluids like velocity, acceleration, and viscosity, all those parameters comes into existence when it is considering the fluid dynamics. And again, fluid dynamics, there are two things. One is kinematics, other one is dynamics. When you are considering kinematics of the fluid, you are considering, you are not considering the pressure causing the motion of the fluid flow. Then that it's a fluid kinematics. Fluid dynamics is if you are considering the pressure causing the motion of the fluid flow, then it is called fluid dynamics. So when these are the major components of the fluid mechanics: fluid statics, fluid dynamics, fluid kinematics, and fluid dynamics. So that we are first going to discuss about fluid statics. When you are talking about fluid statics, the first important parameter to be discussed is your pressure measurement. Why people are keep on coming out? Many people left.
Ma'am, no, ma'am. We are changing them to attendees, ma'am. From
Oh,
presenters to
oh,
attendees.
okay, fine. Hmm. Oh, everyone is in presenter now. Okay. Um, so now then, when you are talking about fluid pressure, what do you mean by pressure? Can anyone define? Can anyone define what is the pressure? Pressure of a fluid.
External normal compressive force per unit area, ma'am.
Hmm. It is force, that's all, not compressive or tensile. You need not mention. It is a force which is acting on the surface of the fluid, right? Over a surface, so over a surface area. So the force which is acting over a surface area, then that is considered as your pressure. So here we are considering a small area dA in the fluid, and if you are taking the fluid is a stationary one, are you able to see this document?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you just consider a small area dA in the mass of the fluid. And if you take the fluid is a stationary, that is a static fluid, the force exerted by the surrounding fluid on the area is perpendicular to the surface area. We are considering that only the perpendicular area, perpendicular to the surface area. Then that force is considered as dF. dF is the force which is acting normal to the area of the fluid. Then the ratio dF by dA is known as intensity of a pressure, or simply you can say it is a pressure, or also you can say it is represented as small p. So p is equal to dF by dA. And if here this dF by dA is taken as the small elemental force and small elemental area, then this force is when it is uniformly distributed over the entire area of individual components, then you can say the pressure at any point we can be given as P is equal to force by area, total area. And else you can say then F is equal to P into A. Force or pressure force is equal to P into A. And what could be the units of these pressures? That it can be, in case of MKS system, it is kilogram force per meter square or kilogram force per centimeter square. 1 kilogram force is equal to 9.81 newtons. That is a conversion. And or if it is in SI unit, it can be Newton per meter square or Newton per millimeter square in SI units. And usually 1 Newton per meter square is represented as 1 Pascal, and Pascal is represented as PA. And 1 kilopascal is 1000 Newton per meter square. And similarly, 1 bar is equal to 100 kilopascal. Or you can say 1 bar is equal to 10 raised to 5 Newton per meter square. Okay. And this is about your introduction, general introduction of a pressure. Okay. Then when you are talking about pressure force, if you are taking this pressure at any point of a static fluid, and it states that the pressure intensity at a point in a fluid is equal in all directions. Suppose I am taking one particular point, the pressure intensity remains equal in all x, y, and z directions. So how do you prove that? We will take a small element of dimensions dx in x direction, dy in y direction, ds in the opposite z direction. So like consider this arbitrary element, wedge shape of the fluid element, and let the width of the element is perpendicular to the plane of the paper, which is considered as your px. So this is your px is the pressure which is acting perpendicular to this plane of paper, and this is py, and this is pz. Pz is missing somewhere here. So this is pz. This is x direction, y direction, and z direction. Now let Px, Py, Pz are the pressures along AB, AC, and BC. So you can see this is where AB is along this direction, AB, AC, and BC directions. And now let us take ABC is equal to theta. What is that ABC here? This is the pressure which is acting exactly opposite to the direction of your Py. This is nothing but because this is perpendicular to this plane BC. And this is exactly opposite, like parallel to the plane AC. Now this inclination is taken as, this ABC is taken as theta, and this ABC, this angle inclination is exactly reversed. This angle inclination will be same as this inclination. Hence, we are taking, considering the pressure, what are the forces which is acting on the element? There are two things we need to consider. One is a pressure force which is normal to the surfaces. Another one is a weight of the element in the vertical direction. If you are taking about pressure forces, then what are the pressure force? If you are taking force on the face AB, what are the force on the pressure AB? You have intensity of pressure Px multiplied by area of the face AB. What are this here? So here if you take AB, Px multiplied by area. Area is dy into 1. 1 is taken as a unit area, unit length. So if you are taking unit length, then it is dy into 1. So this is taken as px into dy into 1. Similarly, force on AC is equal to py into dx into 1, right? Similarly, if you take AC, this is py into dx into 1. Similarly, if you take BC, pz into ds into 1. Okay, so if I am taking weight of the element, these are the forces which is acting on the various faces. Now, if you are taking the weight of the element, mass of the element multiplied by g. So this is the mass of the element, am I right? Weight is equal to mg. Mg means mass into g. So mass of the element, how can you represent in terms of density? Because density is mass by volume. So mass is equal to rho density into volume. Now volume into density is your mass of the element multiplied by g. So what is the volume here? So volume of this wedge shape fluid element is taken as AB into AC by 2 into 1, because you are taking unit length. So into 1 multiplied by rho into g. This remains same, rho g. Now rho is the density of a fluid that you already seen. Now this is about your weight of the element. Now take direction of x alone. Now resolve all the forces in the x direction. So if you resolve all the forces in the direction, what is that? You have px into dy into 1. So this is, so px into dy into 1. Okay, and if I resolve this component like ds into 1, this component, so how it comes actually? So this will be opposite direction, minus pz, this is not p, this is pz into ds into 1 into sine of 90 minus theta. Why sine of 90 minus theta? Here it is theta. When you are resolving this component, this becomes sine of 90 minus theta. So pz into ds into 1 into opposite direction, hence negative sign. So minus sine of 90 minus theta, and that is equal, under equilibrium condition this should be equal to 0 because both should be same opposite directions, and hence px into dy into 1 minus pz into ds into 1 into cos theta is equal to 0. Then but what is your ds into cos theta? Ds into cos theta is nothing but your dy, am I right? Because ab, ds into this ab is going to be your ds into cos theta. ds into cos theta is going to be your ab. Hence, because this is abc is going to be your theta, and hence ab is nothing but because adjacent side by hypotenuse. So ab by bc, then obviously you'll be getting bc is equal to ab into cos theta. So ab into cos theta, and hence that is equivalent to your ds. Sorry. So ds into cos theta is becoming dy. Now px into dy minus pz into dy is equal to 0. Then you can equate px is equal to pz. Or similarly, this is along one direction. Similarly, if you take other directions, sorry. If you take other direction, then y direction if you consider py into dx into 1. Okay, what is py into, so this is the y direction. I'm taking py into dx into 1, and this is our opposite direction, pz into ds into 1 into sine theta. Okay, or cos 90 minus theta. by into dx minus 1 minus pz into ds into 1 into cos 90 minus theta, or you can say it is a sine theta, minus dx into dy by this is whatever, because you are resolving all the forces in the y direction. In the y direction, what are the other force you have? You have the weight of the fluid element in the y direction also, because it is acting downward due to acceleration, and hence weight of the fluid element is minus dx into dy divided by 2 into 1. This already I have seen, weight of the fluid element is AB into AC by 2. This you are going to substitute here into rho into G, and this is going to be 0 because this is the weight of the fluid element which is acting. This is the weight of the fluid element acting in the y direction. Hence we are including the weight also. Now py into dx minus pz into ds sin theta minus dx dy by 2 into rho G is equal to 0. So here ds sin theta is again replaced by dx according to conventions. And now you are considering the elemental dimensions, and you are neglecting a very small weight, then this data, because multiplication of dx dy again that's very negligible, and hence you can neglect this weight and consider these two things, py into dx minus pz into dx equal to 0, and py becomes pz. Now according to previous equation, px is equal to pz. Now you have py is equal to pz. If I am equating these two, 1 and 2, then I will get px equal to py is equal to pz. So what is that? It shows the pressure at any point in xy z directions are equal, and the pressure at any point is same in all directions. Pressure at any point is same in all directions. That is one of the most important things. Then next we'll consider what is the pressure variation in a fluid at rest. How the pressure variation when you are considering the fluid at a rest. So we'll consider that as important law. This is hydrostatic law of pressure distribution. The pressure at any point of the fluid is obtained by hydrostatic law of pressure distribution. What is the hydrostatic law? That is the rate of increase of pressure in a vertically downward direction must be equal to specific weight of the fluid at that point. What is the meaning of it? The rate of increase of pressure in a vertical downward direction. That is, this is the definition. See here. Sorry. Dou P by dou Z is equal to rho G. This is the definition of hydrostatic law. What is that? Dou P by dou Z is, what is the dou P by dou Z? Rate of increase of pressure in a vertical direction that is equivalent to specific weight or weight density. You know what is a weight density? Weight density is nothing but rho G or small w. So that is equal to weight density of the fluid at the point. This law is more important for fluid static. This is a basic and fundamental law for all the problems related to fluid statics. Okay, so always remember this hydrostatic law. So rate of increase of pressure in a vertical direction is equal to weight density of the fluid at that point. Now how we are going to derive this? Let us consider this is the free surface of the liquid, and let Z is the downward direction. This is the vertically downward direction, and let us consider the fluid element ABCD, and which is at a distance of Z from the free surface, and delta Z is the height of this fluid element. And you are considering the forces, like this is our delta A is the cross section area of the element, and delta Z is the height of the fluid element. Let us consider, let P is the pressure on the face AB. This is the pressure which is acting downward direction, and this that is on AB, and Z is the distance which is from the free surface. Now what are the various forces acting on this? If P is the force acting on the opposite downward direction, then you will have in the upward direction the force will be P plus dou P by dou Z into delta Z into delta A. Am I right? Why this is happening? Because the pressure force on AB is P, that is intensity of pressure, multiplied by area, delta A, which is acting perpendicular to the face A in the downward direction. You just remember it is perpendicular to the downward direction. And the pressure on CD is P plus this is the upward direction. So rate of change of pressure over a distance of delta Z is nothing but dP by dou P by dou Z into delta Z, and this should be added with the actual pressure which is already existing on the face AB. So this P plus this rate of increase of pressure with respect to delta Z, and that should be multiplied by delta E. That is nothing but your pressure force on face CD. Here is your pressure force on CD. Okay, now this is vertically upward direction. And what is the weight of the fluid element? As you know, weight of the fluid element is mass density multiplied by G multiplied by volume. Weight by volume. It is nothing but weight by volume. Weight by volume is, so rho G multiplied by volume. So that is the weight of the fluid element. So rho into G is weight density multiplied by volume is delta A into delta Z. Cross sectional area is delta A. Delta A is the vertically downward distance. So delta Z is the actual thickness of the fluid element. So now these are the forces which are acting on the fluid element. Now we will consider the pressure forces on BC and AD are equal and opposite. Okay, that BC, what is BC and AD? So these are BC and AD are BC and AD, this opposite directions. BC and AD are, pressure forces on BC and AD are equal and opposite. So for equilibrium of fluid element, what are the equilibrium conditions now? So we need to have P into A, delta A is the downward force. If you are taking that as a positive, then upward force will be negative. Then minus of P plus dou P by dou Z into delta A plus, then weight of the fluid element rho G into delta A into delta Z. This is equivalent to 0. Now upon simplification, these two will go off. Then we will be having only this component and this component. So again we are cancelling delta A, delta Z on both the sides, equating bringing this term on the right hand side. You are cancelling delta A, delta Z. Then obviously you will be having dou P by dou Z is equal to rho G, because these two terms gets cancelled. Now we will be having dou P by dou Z is equal to W. So weight density of a fluid. Okay, now what is this? This is what the definition we stated for hydrostatic law. The rate of increase of pressure in a vertical downward direction is equal to the weight density of the fluid at that point. So this is your hydrostatic law. Now what I can do, I can integrate this equation. If I am integrating this, then I can bring dz on the other side and make it as dz. Partial differentiation I am integrating and making it to differential. And now this is P is equal to rho Gz, where P is the pressure above the atmospheric pressure, and Z is the, what is that P? P is the pressure which is above atmospheric pressure, the measured at that point. And Z is the height of the point from the free surface. So now we can say Z is equal to P by rho G. This is the basic fundamental equation. Always remember, when you are talking about 2 into 2 is equal to 4, you remember always, right? Same way, it is a basic fundamental for your fluids. Wherever you go, this component will be used in all sorts of fluid related problems. This is the basic equation for the fluid mechanics. So Z is equal to rho by G. What is this Z actually? This is called head, pressure head. Though this pressure head is your actually pressure divided by the weight density of a fluid. That will give you how much is the pressure head which is acting on the fluid. So the suppose in a swimming pool you are going and you are suppose 2 meter or 3 meter below you are in the swimming pool. Then what is the pressure acting on above your head? So suppose I am taking this is the 2 meter of water and somewhere you are here. So I can say what is the pressure acting on the head. So this pressure will be equivalent to this density of a fluid multiplied by this downward head is nothing but suppose I am taking 2 meter. What is the weight density of water? Can anybody say?
9.81
9.81
kilogram per meter cube.
No. What?
9810
9810 unit.
Newton per meter cube.
Very good. 9810 Newton per meter cube. Because W is equal to rho G, right? Weight density of water. Rho is 1000 kg per meter cube and G is meter per second square, 9.81. So 9.81 into 1000, 9810 and the unit is Newton per meter cube. Okay. So water weight density is 9810. As I said, suppose you are in a swimming pool of below 2 meter. Free surface, from free surface you are below 2 meter. So what is the pressure which is acting on your head? Tell me. Hydrostatic pressure.
9810 into 3 Newton per meter.
In the Newton per meter square, isn't it? Because your the rho G is 9810. Yeah, rho G is 9810 Newton per meter cube, and your Z is say 2 meter. Then your pressure will be 9810 multiplied by 2 meters or 3 meters, whatever it is. Okay, so that is the pressure which is acting on your head. That is a hydrostatic pressure. That is why you are feeling that. So it is not the water is having so much amount of pressure. So it is not whatever not only water, the fluids generally I am telling. So it all depends upon the properties, the specific weight property. The hydrostatic pressure always be higher or lower depending on the density. So then this is about your hydrostatic law. Now we'll see one example problem here. A hydraulic press which has a ram of 30 centimeter diameter and a plunger of 4.5 centimeter. You know what is a hydraulic press? One side ram, one side, this is the hydraulic press. This is the ram, this is the plunger. This plunger is going up, down, and this ram is going up. So this is the weight over which we are having a on the other side of the ram. So F is the force which is acting on the plunger. Now what is the question? The hydraulic press has a ram of 30 centimeter diameter and 4.5 centimeter diameter. Find the weight of the lifted lifted by the hydraulic press when the force applied at the plunger is 500 newtons. 500 newton is applied at the plunger and the weight is lifted on the other side of the press by using ram. So when you are applying 500 newton pressure, that is applied to the water or some fluid, and that pressure is transferred to the weight on the other side of the ram and it is going to be lifted. Now you need to calculate what is the weight lifted by the ram. So I can consider the diameter of the ram is 30 centimeter. So you can see diameter of the ram 30 centimeter and diameter of the plunger is 4.5 centimeter. Now the force on the plunger is 500 newtons and weight lifted on the other side is W. Now calculate what is the area of the ram and the area of the plunger, because you know 0.3 meter is the diameter of the ram. You can calculate what is the area of the ram And diameter of the plunger, you can calculate area of the plunger, 0.045 meter. And now, so now you can see here pressure intensity due to this plunger, because the force is acting on the plunger. Now pressure intensity due to this plunger will be force multiplied divided by area of the plunger. When you are dividing force by area, you are getting this much, 500 Newton divided by this area of the plunger. The sum amount of pressure you are getting. And what is the Pascal's law? The intensity of pressure is uniform, equal in all directions, equally transmitted in all directions. Hence, the pressure intensity of the ram will be hello. நான் கிளாஸ்ல இருக்கேன்ப்பா, ஒரு 10 நிமிஷம் அரை மணி நேரம் கழிச்சு போட்டேன், கிளாஸ்ல இருக்கேன். Now, this is your pressure which is acting on the plunger. Now, the pressure intensity of the ram will be this weight divided by this area of the ram. So that is equivalent to this weight divided by area. Now, what will happen? You have to equate this with this. Then you are equating these two things, we will be getting what is the weight lifted by the ram. Am I right? So equating these two things, we will be getting weight is equal to something related to 22 kilonewtons. So you are applying to 500 newtons over the small area, and you are getting a weight lifted by the ram is 22 kilonewtons, because intensity of pressure will be equally transmitted in all directions. That is a Pascal's law, according to Pascal's law. Now we will see another problem. Here this is a tank which contains water up to a depth of 2 meters. Listen carefully. This is a tank which contains two liquids. One is water, other liquid is oil. Water has a depth of 2 meters. Oil has a depth of 1 meter above water. And oil is having a specific gravity of 0.9. And water, you know, specific gravity is 1. Now find the pressure intensity at the interface of two liquids. This point, interface of two liquids. And at the bottom of the tank, this point. So you need to calculate at A as well as at B, what is the pressure intensity. Okay. Now we will take the height of the water. Z1 is equal to 2 meter. This is 2 meter. And Z2 is equal to 1 meter. This height of the oil. Specific gravity of oil is 0.9 and density of water. So ρ1 is equal to 1000 kg per meter cube. And density of oil is nothing but specific gravity of oil multiplied by density of water. This basic equation you know, according to specific gravity. Because specific gravity is ρ1 by ρ2. So you will be getting what is your ρ2 here. Sorry, ρ2 by ρ1. ρ1 is the density of water. You will be getting what is the density of oil from the specific gravity. Now, what is the pressure intensity at any point is given by P is equal to ρg Z. This is the hydrostatic law. Now, at the interface at point A, P is equal to, this is ρ2, because ρ2 is the density of water, and ρ2 into G into 1. Am I right? ρ2 into G into 1. So ρ1 is the water and ρ2 is the oil. So if you are taking A, what is the liquid which is present on A? The liquid present above A is nothing but your oil. And hence at the interface you can have this ρ2 is the density of oil multiplied by your G multiplied by your head of water. This head of water is 1 meter. So that is going to be your pressure at the interface, say 8829 or 0.8829 Newton per centimeter square. And if you are taking at the bottom B, now this force will be acting. So ρ2 into G into Z2 plus ρ1 into G into Z1. Am I right? So if you are taking at point B, you have to consider this as well as this, because there are two heads of two different liquids. So you have to consider ρ2 G into Z2 plus ρ1 G into Z1. Now that will be equivalent to, substitute all the values, you will be getting what is the pressure at this bottom face. Now you understood? So this is 0.8829. If you are taking interface, you are taking only the pressure is very less, 0.8829. But if you are taking the base B, it is higher, 2.859. Obviously, the fluids are different and of different high head also. So here only 1 meter of oil, but here 2 meter of water and 1 meter of oil head. The head is for 3 meters with 2 meter of water and 1 meter of oil. So obviously at B, the pressure will be more. at the bottom than at the interface. Is it clear? Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this is also one of the important concepts for the fluids. Then we'll pass on to next, measurement of pressure. How the system of pressure which is measured. Maybe this is the last topic I am taking. I will close this with this topic. Let me see here. I will show you one diagram. This is the another fundamental. Today whatever you have seen is only fundamentals. So this is the relationship between the various pressure. Always remember this diagram. Here you can see x-axis absolute zero pressure and y-axis is your pressure. And there is one line which is called your atmospheric pressure. The atmosphere is always having some pressure. What is the atmospheric pressure value? So here it is mentioned here in SI unit. Yeah, 1 bar. Or atmospheric pressure at sea level when you are mentioning, this is equivalent to 10.13 Newton per centimeter square. Okay, in SI unit. In case of MKS unit, it is 1 kg flows per centimeter square. And atmospheric pressure, this the datum line represents the atmospheric pressure. And what are these pressures? Gauge pressure, absolute pressure, vacuum pressure. There are various components of pressure. So what are these components? We'll see one by one. So if I am taking first one is the pressure of a fluid is measured in two different systems, I can say. One system is above absolute zero or complete vacuum. If you are measuring the pressure above absolute zero or complete vacuum, then it is called absolute pressure. And in other system, the pressure is measured above the atmospheric pressure and it is called gauge pressure. This is the basically two system which is used for the pressure measurements. You can say here, now you refer the diagram. So here is the absolute zero pressure or complete vacuum in which the pressure is measured above. And here is your atmospheric pressure in which the pressure is measured above the atmospheric pressure. So this pressure is called your gauge pressure. The pressure which is measured above the atmospheric pressure is called gauge pressure. For this only we are using pressure gauges for measurements. And here you are taking absolute zero pressure in which you are using vacuum gauges because it is below the atmospheric pressure, because you can see this is below atmospheric pressure or complete vacuum or above absolute zero, then it is called vacuum pressure. And here you can say this is the absolute pressure which is measured above the absolute zero pressure. These two are the two systems. And absolute pressure, you can say the definition for absolute pressure is the pressure which is measured with reference to absolute vacuum. So absolute vacuum is, here you can say this is also absolute pressure, this is also absolute pressure. Here this is absolute pressure which is measured above absolute zero pressure is called your absolute pressure. And another thing is gauge pressure. The gauge pressure is defined as the pressure which is measured, as I said, with the help of pressure measuring instruments or pressure gauges, in which the atmospheric pressure is taken as a datum and we will mark atmospheric pressure as 0. Now this is the gauge pressure. We are marking the reference to atmospheric pressure, taking 0 atmospheric pressure and it is measured above this. Okay, now the relationship, what is a vacuum pressure now? This is your absolute pressure, this is your gauge pressure. Now vacuum pressure is pressure which is measured below the atmospheric pressure. It is measured below the atmospheric pressure is called your vacuum pressure. Now what is the relationship between all these pressures? Absolute, gauge and vacuum. You can say absolute pressure is equal to, there are two kinds of relations. Absolute pressure is equal to atmospheric pressure plus gauge pressure. Am I right? P absolute is equal to this, we are taking above atmospheric pressure, it can be atmospheric pressure plus gauge pressure. And if you are taking with reference to absolute zero pressure, then it is atmospheric pressure minus absolute pressure. That is nothing but your vacuum pressure, because this is going to be your atmospheric pressure minus your absolute pressure, this value minus your absolute pressure is going to be your vacuum pressure. Okay, so these are the two ways of representing the pressure. Okay, and the atmospheric pressure head is usually 10.3 meter of this. Always you note down. Atmospheric pressure head is 10.3 meter of water and 760 mm of mercury. This value is more important. 10.3 meter of water, the atmospheric pressure head, and your in terms of mercury, if you want to say, this is 760 mm of mercury. This is the atmospheric pressure head with reference to the atmospheric pressure. Okay, and with this, I am closing here. Maybe we will continue with this, and we will I will give you some assignments. Maybe in the first unit, you can solve the assignments. As I told you, we will have the assessments. Can we have the assessment next week? First assessment. Whatever we have covered so far, we'll have one assessment. It is basically LMS we'll have. I am planning either with Google Classroom or with some LMS. I will tell you which LMS I am going to follow. Then we'll have one assessment. Usually, as I told you, we'll have 4 continuous assessments for all the 4 units. Assignments are separate, that will be having some weightages. And in addition to the final assessment, which carries 30% weightage. Okay, I have not uploaded your course plan. I will upload it at least by this week. Sure. Then any doubts?
Ma'am, can you tell in detail what is the assessment pattern? Like how much marks is allotted for internal assessments and then for assignments and then for anything?
Just a minute. Just a minute, I am typing. This is the pattern I am going to follow. Assessment 1, 2, 3, 4, which carries first 2 assessments, 10% weightage, other 2%, other 2 assessments, 15% weightage, and assignment 20% and some 30% weightage. Are you able to see?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, this is one I am going to follow, and I'll be using assessments. I'll be using LMS, Learning Management System. I will inform which one I am going to adapt. Okay, so definitely it will be kind of a problem, subjectives, any kind of a mode. Yeah, definitely copying will not be permitted. Okay, this answer is, it is an open book. Questions will be of high standards, so you have to prepare. It can be objective or it can be any kind of things. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Sudarshan, you
Yes,
send me the list of mail IDs. I will create a group and I will let you know.
Actually, after creating a team directly, you can add the roll numbers only, ma'am. Mail ID.